Hi everyone, welcome to our second video in the Cultural Studies series. Today we are exploring the birth of cultural studies. We will focus on two influential schools, the Frankfurt School in Germany and CCCS, the Center for Contemporary Cultural Studies in the UK. In the last class, we stopped with the term New Left. We all know about Marxism, and we have looked into Marxism in the last class. How the New Left differ from traditional Marxism. The New Left, which both these schools helped shape, broke away from the orthodox Marxism or traditional Marxism because the traditional Marxism or the old Marxism emphasized class struggle and economic base, while the New Left expanded its lens to include culture, identity and ideology. It was less about factories, production and more about films, media, fashion and how meaning is made or constructed in society. So in total, the New Left asked, how does culture shape our worldview? How do media and language reproduce inequality? Rather than just analyzing production, laborers, the New Left turned to representation, ideology and the lived experiences of marginalized communities. Both these schools, the Frankfurt School and the British Cultural Studies, both these schools gave importance to New Left, or we can say they both had New Left as their foundation. Now let's look into these two schools in detail. The Frankfurt School in Germany. It was founded in 1923 at the University of Frankfurt by Felix Wade, a Marxist intellectual who wanted to combine theory with social activism. Okay, the major goal of this school was to understand how mass culture, that is films, radio and magazine, shape public consciousness, and they combine Marxism with hermeneutics. And what is hermeneutics here? Hermeneutics, which is also called the art of interpretation, was originally applied to texts like Bible. But now you can consider the term hermeneutics as the art of interpretation or interpretation in general. Here we are interpreting the modern cultural artifacts, okay? That is how the Frankfurt School combined Marxism with hermeneutics. So they asked the question, that is the base of interpretation. So they asked the question, the Frankfurt School asked the questions like, what hidden meanings lie in the cultural products? How do these cultural products reinforce power structures? And their questions go in this way. Thinkers of the Frankfurt School argued that culture was not only about entertainment, it was a tool for social control. But unfortunately, the school was closed in 1933. And you all know that the Frankfurt School and the theories under Frankfurt School are basically Marxist. But Germany at the time was under the hand of the totalitarian or the authoritarian Hitler. So, how can these people could have survived there? So, the Nazi, when they raised to power, the school was shut down in 1933 and all its members eloped, or we can say moved to the US, and they continued their research there in exile, okay? The final important point about the Frankfurt School is that they emphasized critical theory. What is critical theory? This is all about rational thinking, questioning everything. You know, in the Enlightenment age in Britain, the famous phrase, Safedi Ade, echoed everywhere. And it was a line quoted by the famous Enlightenment philosopher Immanuel Kant. So we should question everything. We should have rational thinking. So this Frankfurt School gave importance to critical theory. Next, cultural studies, which flourished in the UK. So here the center is called Center for Contemporary Cultural Studies. Center for Contemporary Cultural Studies. This center is also called British Cultural Studies, and it was founded in 1964, okay, at Birmingham University by Richard Hogarth. And who was Richard Hogarth? He was a working class academic deeply interested in everyday life and popular culture. And here I have given a picture, and it is well known work of D.H. Lawrence. It is Lady Chatterley's Lover. And here I have also mentioned another term in the slide. It is educated guess. When you want to qualify exams like NET, GATE, SET or any kind of examination, educated guess plays a crucial role, because you can't remember each and every year, the publication year of each and every work or each and every fact. So because every discipline is like a vast ocean. So sometimes educated guess helps us in scoring marks. So here, when you relate things like this, you can make educated guess easily. So here I have given one example. Here I have mentioned Lady Chatterley's Lover written by D.H. Lawrence. Why should I mention this here? Because Richard Hogarth, who founded this school, got a good sum of money from the Penguin publications. Because Penguin publication published Lady Chatterley's Lover, and Penguin publication, which is popularly called Penguin trial. Penguin books was brought to a trial because Lady Chatterley's Lover was criticized for obscenity. So in the court, there were more critics, but here particularly I mentioned Richard Hogarth. So Richard Hogarth, a prominent academic author, testified that this novel, Lady Chatterley's Lover, was essentially moral and Puritan. There is no need to banish this book. And finally, Penguin Books won the trial. So when they won the trial, they gave a good sum of money to Richard Hogarth, who testified it. So Richard Hogarth got a good sum of money. With this amount, he started this school. Okay. So when you relate things like this, you can remember that Lady Chatterley's Lover was brought to obscenity. Why should this book came to trial? So when you give your mind a space to ponder question like this, you can remember so many things. So you will come to know that D.H. Lawrence throughout his life was criticized for obscenity and sexuality. So you can learn so many things, and with that you can answer questions. This school gave importance to working class culture. The first director of British Cultural Studies, this school, was Richard Hogarth. Then after him, Stuart Hall became the most influential figure. Then after Stuart Hall, Richard Johnson became the director of the school. Then Michael Green took over next, and others till the center was closed. So CCCS emphasized working class culture, youth subcultures, race, gender, media, and they rejected the narrow-mindedness or class-only focus of traditional Marxism. So they completely opposed traditional Marxism. That is why we call this as New Left. Sadly, the school was closed in 2002 due to shifting academic policies and funding cuts, but its influence still lives on in universities throughout the world. And even now, we are looking into this school. That is how Richard Hogarth made this school influential for centuries ahead. Okay, so in total, both these schools gave birth to cultural studies, a field that still challenges how we can view power, identity, society, class struggles, everything. Okay, this is all about both these schools. Now let's focus on important theorists under each school. Under the Frankfurt school, we have Max Horkheimer, Theodor Adorno, Jürgen Habermas, Herbert Marcuse, Walter Benjamin. Under CCCS, we have Richard Hogarth, Stuart Hall, E.P. Thompson, and Raymond Williams. Let's look into each theorist in detail in our upcoming videos. See you all in our third video of the Cultural Studies series. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, share, and do like if you really like this video. Thank you all.